Turkic-speaking states, which is an intergovernmental organization founded in 2009 to increase cooperation among Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Turkey. And I will be serving as your moderator today. This very important meeting session organized, as said before, in cooperation with Lower Chamber of the Parliament of the Republic of Kazakhstan, International Turkic Academy, and Caspian Strategy Institute. The concept of transport has been given a special emphasis in the agenda of the Astana Economic Forum in every year as an important component of economic life. With the contribution of our valuable panelists, we will try to touch upon different aspects of the topics today, which has become a very important topic in the course of last 10-15 years. I believe that we will try to keep you awake with our thought-provoking presentation here. We have here with us different speakers. Each has considerable grasp on the topic we are going to discuss. Before I move on to introducing them, please allow me briefly spare a few words on the topic. As you know, intensification of East-West trade relation has brought new impetus to transport initiatives passing through the Caucasus and Central Asian countries. This has aroused the strategic significance of the Caspian crossing as well. In 21st century, European and Asian markets have become further liberalized. These multiplied and diversified the goods transport through this path and rendered this historic path yet again a viable alternative for the movement of goods and people. Today we are going to focus on geostrategic potential that Caspian region can play in diversification of region itself and the world transport routes. Based on this notion, it's possible to say that the Caspian region does not consist only of the littoral states of the Caspian Sea, but it functions as a broader geostrategic term encompassing most of the Central Asia, North Caucasus, and Transcaucasia, as well as such nearby states as Turkey, India, Pakistan, and even China. Today's session will focus on transportation sector in these countries, current situation, and future projections, enhanced cooperation among related countries, as well as regional organizations and international financial institutions. So, dear participants, I hope at the end of the day, you will have a greater understanding where this debate is going and what kind of outcome can be achieved. So with this, hopefully the presentation will not take longer than an hour, 8 minutes for each speakers, and then we'll hopefully have about 30 minutes for comments, questions, and answers. So I will start in order of the program. Let me shortly introduce our speakers. Our first speaker is Kanat Alpspayev. He is the Vice President of Logistics Kazakhstan Demiryolu. Second speaker is His Excellency Jandos Asanov. He is Secretary General of Turkic-speaking countries Parliamentary Assembly. Third speaker is, you all know well, His Excellency Ambassador Halil Akıncı, Founding Secretary General of Cooperation Council of Turkic-speaking states. Next speaker is İlyas Demirci, General Secretary of the Union of Engineers and Architects of the Turkic World. Another speaker is Azer Aliyev, Head of Department of Transportation Politics and Economics of Ministry of Transportation of Azerbaijan. Our lady speaker is Mrs. Ekaterina Miroshnik, Director for Infrastructure in Russia and Central Asia of EBRD. So I would like to again welcome to all of the speakers. So first, the floor is the speaker is Kanat Alpspayev, Vice President of Logistics of the Kazakhstan Demiryolu. Let me briefly introduce his biography. He graduated from Almaty Institute of Railway Engineering, as well as the University of Kentucky, USA, and Moscow International Higher Business School. He has extensive experience of 20 years in Kazakhstan Railways. He began his career as an electrician at the Selini Railway. He served in variety of management and senior management positions and appointed as Vice President of Kazakhstan Demiryolu in 2008. So, Mr. Alpspayev, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am represent railway company, Kazakhstan Temirjoli. Basically, maybe you know that according to initiative of President of the country, Mr. Nazarbayev, and Kazakhstan government, Kazakhstan Railway was appointed as a kind of driver for the to implement the policy to create Kazakhstan as a transit hub. And Trans-Caspian route is playing significant role in our entire policy. Basically speaking, you know that within the region the trade is growing drastically, and basically according to projection that the growth of the trade within the region will grow from the 800 billion US dollars to 1.2 trillion. And this number is really gives some really flavor which we can walk forward regarding to increase the activities to promote transcontinental routes of the bringing the goods from the east to west and vice versa. For example, last year, by transportation route going through Kazakhstan, we handle almost 8 million tons, and the entire revenue from the transit traffic reaches more than 1 billion US dollars for the railway. As you know, there are some significant initiative was placed by the China. The first initiative was the program called Go West, where the western region of China started to develop drastically, and the industrialization part, logistic part, will created almost a lot of opportunity for us. And this has bring also the big potential for the Caspian region as well to bring the transportation activities. From the Kazakhstan, actually in 2012, we opened the second entrance to the China. So basically right now we have a two connection by the railway with design capacity more than the 40 million tons, which you can handle through the border between Kazakhstan and China. Another big project for us, which we are finalizing, is creating the free economic zone on the border with China. We call Horgost East Gate, which will play significant role. The construction we should to finish with your. In 2014, also Kazakhstan Railway finalized the construction of the new railway line, Zhezkazgan-Bineo. Basically, it's allowed just to increase the speed of operation by the train and reduce the distance, for example, from the China border to the Caspian region, almost to the 1,000 kilometers. Also, last year, you know that the railway between Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, and Iran was connected and finalized. And also, it allowed just to bring the capacity and potential freight operation to the Persian Gulf region as well. Of course, we can tell about the infrastructure because it's a very important part of that, but we just need to tell how can we initiate and do the right marketing and to promote the goods flowing. We can see that basically the studies show how can transcontinental route can compete with the shipping lines. Of course, from the cost perspective and the price perspective, we can never ever compete, never. The point is here, what kind of value we can bring by doing the service through the transcontinental. Of course, first of all is the speed. For example, comparing to bring the goods from the Shanghai to Duisburg, Germany, it will take almost 35 to 60 days, depends on the traffic. We are doing the service through the railway line. For example, to bring the goods from city Chunxing in China to Duisburg by 15 days. It's going from the east to west more than 10,000 kilometers. And we was able, with our colleagues from Russia, Belarus, Poland, and Germany, to bring on speed of operation. Our goal to increase this kind of operation and basically they put the scheduled So it's same kind of operation as a passenger. So clients know when cargo train will leave from, for example, Chunxing and will arrive to Duisburg. Time, just in time, and we will just provide this service. Same stuff we want to do, for example, through the Caspian region. And we already on the deep and detailed discussion with our colleagues from Azerbaijan, Georgia, Turkey, to bring all the components to pull the really multi-logistics operation of this route. It's very little bit complicated because, you know, we just need to be able to connect railway, ports, shipping line on the Caspian region, and to connect the lines, railway lines on the Kavkaz states. But we are planning to do the pilot train with you, and we almost agree. I see my colleagues from the region sitting here, so they can confirm that we are moving forward. And from my perspective, Trasica routes, which we call Trasica traditionally, it's really promoting routes which we need to give more attention. Of course, the base for that, it's really do the right promotion and marketing. And as I said, we will do the first pilot from the eastbound with you. And also we're talking with potential clients to bring the goods from the Europe to the China, for example. And there is a big demand, and we just need to do the right investment. For example, the preferences of the China consumption is changing. And right now, the Chinese society consume more and more valuable goods. I mean, from the product and food perspective. For example, the consumption of the meat increase, and the wine, for example, pharmaceutical, everything is just increasing each year. It brings us some also big opportunities. For example, to using the ref containers. To use the ref containers and just to fill out ref containers and to bring by the railway from the west to east. Another big opportunity which we're talking also, it's working, for example, with different automobile assembling companies like BMW or Volkswagen, which has assembly facilities in China. Also, they're very interested to use the regular train to bring the components from the west to east. Another very interesting product from the multimodal aspect is do the real combination of the rail and air operation. And we have done some trial as well. For example, to bring the goods from the China to Europe by the air, it's really costly. So, for example, if you put in the tonnage and equivalents to 120 container TEUs, basically it will cost around $50,000 per container to bring the goods. But combination by the rail and air, for example, to bring by the rail goods from the China to Kazakhstan, Almaty to or Astana, and to allow just to put these goods on the regular passenger train, or to bring the cargo, aeroplane, and to put that and to bring to the Europe. From the speed operation and time and price perspective, it's also interesting for our customers. Basically, you know, I mean, I think that it's a two combination. It's a infrastructure development and also develop of the competencies. And also, it's very important for the region just to follow and to be integrated and as a one part from the making the flow of the goods smoother. So basically, we need just to simplify the rule of the operation of our customs. This is very important aspect for the transportation. From the border operation is very important aspect. And we believe that the perspective and forecasting for bringing and using the Trans-Caspian operation can really create real alternative way to bring the tremendous operation from the east-west and vice versa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kanat Alpspayev. I think it was a good thought for the, if you take the east-west transportation of the goods, not only the transportation from the China and also transportation of the goods from the Europe. So you combine the different ways of the transportation as well as the railway and the air transportation. So in our next plan should be how can we combine this railway transportation with through the Caspian Sea corridor, through the sails, and after through the Baku to the Turkey, and there's also the projects of the Turkey on Marmaray, which is completed. So I think we have to analyze these different types of the roads, air and railways, as well as the track roads. So thank you very much for this informative, short, brief information. And our next speaker is His Excellency Jandos Hasanov, who is the Secretary General of the TÜRKPA, Turkic-speaking States Parliamentary Assembly. Mr. Hasanov has a very successful diplomatic career starting from 1993, having served as Executive Director of the Secretariat of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia, and also Deputy Head of the Mission of OSCE Office in Minsk. Mr. Jandosov was elected as the Secretary General of the TÜRKPA in 2013, so the floor is yours.
Stephen? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear participants and ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to the organizers of this August gathering for the invitation to this important occasion and the opportunity to address honorable audience. Astana Economic Forum has become the main expert platform of Kazakhstan, which annually brings together eminent scholars, economists, heads of international organizations and diplomatic missions, famous scientists and economists. First of all, I'd like to say a few words about TÜRKPA. Parliamentary Assembly of Turkic-speaking countries is the parliamentary dimension of cooperation among the Turkic-speaking nations, and it was established on 21st November 2008, subject to the agreement signed by the heads of parliaments of Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and Turkey in Istanbul. As you are aware, President of Kazakhstan, Nursultan Nazarbayev, was and is the driving force behind the creation of our Parliamentary Assembly. The agenda of the activities of Turkic cooperation institutions, as you know, is set by the heads of our states, and TÜRKPA's task is to give legislative backing to various projects and undertakings ongoing within the framework of this within the framework of the Turkic Council. Turkic Council, as you know, is at the level of our presidents. The Parliamentary Assembly of Turkic-speaking countries has an intention to support further development of interparliamentary dialogue among the countries and create favorable conditions for elaboration and implementation of different initiatives by means of parliamentary diplomacy. One of the main goals of TÜRKPA is establishment of new relations and development of the existing ones with the parliaments and other international organizations of the countries in the region and all over the world. TÜRKPA can play an important role in bringing forward regional economic projects. For our assembly is composed of the chairs and members of 4 parliaments. We cover a wide range of issues relating to trade and investment, transport and hydrocarbons sector. This year's main agenda point of Astana Economic Forum, as you know, is dedicated to infrastructure projects. Issues of modernization and the development of infrastructure are an important factor for sustainable development in modern conditions. In this regard, I'd like to note that the last 2 meetings of TÜRKPA Commission on Economic Cooperation were dedicated to the issues of cooperation in transport and energy sectors, including the infrastructural development. In 2014, meeting of the TÜRKPA Commission on Economic Cooperation was held in Baku, where the issues relating to transport were discussed. Meeting preceded by the consultations of transport experts from the member countries, where representatives of relevant ministries and specialized parliamentary committees plus representative of the Trasika Intergovernmental Commission came together to exchange views on basic aspects of transport cooperation among the Turkic-speaking countries. National experts made their comments and remarks to the report and the recommendation adopted at the Commission's meeting. At the initial stage, such a gathering facilitated the setup of contacts among experts from the member countries in order to further carry out more coordinated activities on exchange of up-to-date information in the field of transportation and transport. These meetings of experts, first of all, aim to develop wide exchange of parliamentary experience and share best practices among the member countries. And as a next stage, will pave way for defining priority aspects of sectoral cooperation in the Turkpa framework. Dear colleagues, as you know, at the end of 2013, Turkey commissioned its Marmaray railway project. Kazakhstan last year completed the construction of 100,000 kilometers long railway that connects central Kazakhstan with the west of the country, reaching the Caspian Sea. Kazakhstan is also about to commission its part, almost 2,800 kilometers of transnational highway, Western China, Western Europe. We are expecting the completion of Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway. All this means that through our countries we'll be operating huge long-distance railway that connects the Atlantic with the Pacific. In the light of aforesaid, I'd like to reiterate Turkpa's commitment and intention to spare no efforts so to give a comprehensive and up-to-date legislative backing to the above-mentioned undertakings. And I believe that Parliamentary Assembly will play an important role in turning the Caspian into one of the major transit routes of the globe. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ambassador. So I completely agree with you that parliamentary dimension of cooperation among regions is utmost important. So we always need elaboration of the legislative ground, so of the cooperation among the regions, countries. So as well as the parliamentary bodies play a crucial role to keep the transportation and transit issues on the agenda of our national governments. So thank you very much for these brief, informative statements. So our next speaker, third speaker is Ambassador His Excellency Khalil Akıncı. He is the founding Secretary General of the Cooperation Council of Turkic-speaking states. He is well-recognized authority on Russian and Central Asian affairs. Prior to his last service, Mr. Akıncı enjoyed a successful diplomatic career, having served as ambassador of Turkey to Delhi and later to Moscow for several times. He also served for 10 years in NATO as an expert on Soviet Union affairs. So, Your Excellency, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, I shall try to present the Caspian region in historical perspective, comparing it with particularly with the 19th century and then even beyond that, even before that. Free trade with minimum restrictions was in the vogue before the First World War. But what was understood from free trade at the time was certain countries were free and the other countries were not so free. Terms of trade were dictated by the northern nations, and the south was tasked with providing the north with raw materials under the terms of trade dictated by the north, and the north was supposed to provide the south with the industrial goods. Of course, the history of this goes back, even it has something to do, this pattern of exchanges has something to do with the American Revolution of the late 18th century between Britain and the American colonies. So this type of trade, particularly after the Industrial Revolution, submerged certain major nations of the world, industrial nations of the world, and then helped the other nations to come to the fore and dominate the world trade. China was a pre-industrial revolution industrial center of the world. India was the same, likewise. Textiles were very important, and then if you look at history, you can read about Chinese inventions, Chinese exports, etc. Now, East-West trade, as understood in the sense of the 19th century, has also diminished, because China and India have become one of the biggest manufacturers, particularly China, and they are dominating the manufacturing exchanges in the world. So the Eurasian continent, excluding its western part, is regaining its important pre-18th century importance in the world trade and production. Now, when we come to the Caspian Sea, we should think of Caspian Sea in three circles, with Caspian in the middle. To the east, Seyhun and Ceyhun, Siri Derya, Amu Derya, I use the Turkish names, which are the original names, Seyhun and Ceyhun, extending until China. To the west, again, taking Caspian as a center. To the west, extending through the Black Sea and Turkey to the Mediterranean. Caspian is at the center of these three circles. Why we see Caspian at the center? Because Caspian is connected. First of all, it's surrounded by several states which have great potential for growth, and Caspian is connected through artificial or natural waterways and landways, land passes to the other two circles. And the natural wealth of the littoral states of Caspian is being utilized by the real owners of these natural wealth. For example, Kazakhstan is becoming one of the richest states, the states of the world when it comes to hydrocarbon resources. So this led one American author, Robert Kaplan, depicting Kazakhstan as the new heartland of the world. Now, I will omit the figures because both Mr. Kanat Alpishbayev and Mr. Haldun Yavaş gave us sufficient number of figures to support the middle corridor. However, I have to mention one thing. If you want to export or import goods to China through the Suez Canal, it takes 45 days. Whatever route you prefer, it will take definitely less. So the Hazar is a transportation center, water or sea-land combination. Combination, why combination? We can talk about combinations very easily because the introduction of containers in transport is making multimodal transport very easy. Well, multimodal transport existed during the olden times of the Silk Road, but in another form. For example, from Central Asia, if you want to trade goods with India, you brought the goods with camel to the Himalayan passes, and from the Himalayan passes, you loaded them to mules. And you did the reverse when exporting from India. So there's nothing new under the sea. Moreover, I will just quote the General Secretary of the Turkish Transporters Union. In an interview at the beginning of the year, Fatih Şener, Executive Director of International Transport Union of Turkey, said, Turkish transporters aim at 25,000 vehicles crossing the Caspian. Because according to him, if this route is preferred, vehicles will transit in 6 days from Turkey to Turkmenistan instead of 20 days through Iran, and the cost will drop from $9,000 to below $6,000 per vehicle. Well, development of the Caspian corridor will facilitate augmentation of not only interregional trade, but intra-regional trade. if you remember the railway building policy of the 19th century, if you remember the effects of this railway building policy, we will see that a transport infrastructure will serve as the basis of economic development of the region and will encourage production, and after that will encourage trade. However, is transport infrastructure sufficient? Because when we discuss transport, we should not stop there. We should also study and present to the public that pays attention to us without yawning what are the connections of transport, what are the ramifications of a developed transport to our main goals, which is the welfare, which is the increased welfare of our nations. Now, this transport infrastructure should be supplemented with free trade zones and also better practices at customs, and a unified transport policy. So we should not kill the hen to excessively profit, but we should follow a very calibrated policy so that it's a long-term business. We should lay the foundations of long-term business. Turkey Council, which I do not represent, but I am the founding Secretary General at present, Turkey Council has concentrated on development of transport. The Gebele Summit was about transport, and the Turkey Council continues its endeavors for the development of transport. And they are aware of the problems, and they are trying to resolve the problems. They are dealing with customs, they are dealing with infrastructure, they are dealing with combined transport patterns, and I hope this will continue. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. You exactly point out the main factor which can create east-west transport of the goods, which are you said, first of all, free trade system, and as well as transport infrastructure is important. You always mention about the fact that because of many non-physical barriers, such as lengthy procedures, border crossing, the average speed of commercial truck between the Central Asia and Turkey is lowered down to the 17 kilometers per hour. So in case of that sad situation, we have to search for other roads, and the Caspian corridor could be the most useful corridors. And you said about the between the infrastructure. For example, if you take the fact that the procedure about the paper, there is a statistic that every extra day required to read the goods for import or export decreases trade by around 4%. A decrease of 4 days to read the goods for import and export increases GDP per capita growth rate by 0.1%. So it is obvious that we have to address these obstacles, physical, non-physical barriers. Thank you very much again, Ambassador, for your short and brief statements. And our next speaker is Mr. Azer Aliyev. He is the head of the Department of Transportation Politics and Economics of Minister of Transportation of Azerbaijan. Mr. Aliyev, with his almost 10 years service and experience in Ministry of Transport, has a very interesting presentation in order to see the strategic vision of Azerbaijan on developing national and as well as regional transport network on Caspian. Floor is yours.
Thank you. С вашего позволения, я хотел бы сегодня выступить на русском языке. Сперва я хочу от имени руководства Министерства транспорта Азербайджанской Республики приветствовать всех участников совещания. И сегодня много говорилось о проектах, о тех коротких путях и маршрутах, которые нужно выбрать, исследовать. Но я сегодня хотел бы побольше акцентировать свое выступление на тех мероприятиях, которые проводятся в транспортном секторе и в Азербайджанской Республике, и в тех проектах, где Азербайджанская Республика является соучастником. Значит, сегодняшнюю встречу мы рассматриваем как хорошую возможность для обсуждения перспективных направлений сотрудничества. Эффективная интеграция стран в мировое экономическое сообщество невозможна без надежных и транспортных коммуникаций, способных удовлетворять потребности в перевозках. С этой точки зрения вопрос рациональной организации международных перевозок всегда являлся актуальным. Выбор и реализация приоритетных проектов, создание эффективной транспортно-логистической системы и достижение координированного управления транспортными операциями являются наиболее важными вопросами, которые требуют нашего общего внимания. Развитие транспортной отрасли, интеграция национальной транспортной системы нашей республики, Азербайджанской республики, и международную транспортную систему является основным приоритетом в развитии транспортного сектора. Усовершенствование транспортного сектора имеет также систему программных мероприятий, которые обеспечивают ее устойчивое развитие, обновление инфраструктуры, парка транспортных средств. А в итоге все это сводится к эффективной эксплуатационной деятельности этого самого сектора. Особую значимость также имеет и инвестирование транспортных проектов, направленных на развитие инфраструктуры, повышение доступности и качества услуг транспортного комплекса. Хочу сказать, что за последние 5 лет ежегодные инвестиционные вложения в транспортную отрасль составили около 20% от общего объема всех инвестиций в экономику страны. Азербайджанская республика сегодня привлечена в широкое международное сотрудничество в качестве надежного партнера и активно участвует в осуществлении ряда крупных региональных транспортных проектов. Один из этих проектов господином Асановым уже был отмечен, это реализация совместного с Грузией и Турцией проекта новой соединительной железнодорожной линии Баку-Тбилиси-Карс, которая послужит развитию не только коридора Тарасика, а также способствует созданию прямых международных железнодорожных сообщений и широкому применению интермодальных перевозок, и напрямую соединяя железнодорожные сети Европы и Азии через Кавказский регион. Кстати, в декабре прошлого года хочу отметить, что по этой строящейся железнодорожной линии уже был запущен первый рабочий поезд до границы Турции и Грузии. Также в настоящее время ведется строительство нового международного морского торгового порта. Об этом более подробно рассказал многоуважаемый Вахид Алиев. И он также отметил, что это расположение этого порта на пересечении основных направлений транзитных грузоперевозок по осям транспортных коридоров с запада на восток и с севера на юг превратит данный порт в крупный логистический центр для всего региона. На регулярной основе продолжаются работы по обновлению морского флота. С целью широкого применения мультимодальных перевозок в Каспийском регионе и облегчения и увеличения объема морских перевозок в целом были закуплены и сданы в эксплуатацию 8 современных двухдонных танкеров, которые отвечают международным требованиям дедвейтом в 13 тысяч тонн, и 6 паромов вместимостью 52 и 54 железнодорожных вагона. Основной целью этого является создание более благоприятных условий для транзита грузов через нашу страну. С целью повышения качества оказываемых услуг и достижения роста товарооборота в окрестностях Баку и приграничных регионах создаются новые терминалы по перевалке грузов. В сфере автомобильного транспорта проводятся работы по обновлению автотранспортного парка, совершенствованию методов организации международных перевозок, внедрению цифровых тахографов. Проводится полномасштабная работа по строительству и реконструкции автомобильных дорог международного значения и доведению их до первой технической категории. Здесь, приоритетным в основном уделяется внимание приоритетным дорогам, магистральным дорогам, относящимся к сегментам международных транспортных коридоров, проходящих по территории республики. Модернизируется железнодорожный транспорт страны. Поэтапно продолжается работа по реконструкции дорожного хозяйства, полной замене системы энергообеспечения, сигнализации и связи. закупки новых локомотивов и вагонов. Капитально отремонтирована 400-километровая часть дороги, на которой, согласно проекту, максимальная скорость в этом направлении составит 120 км в час. Эти и другие проекты все служат созданию прямых международных автомобильно-паромных и железнодорожных сообщений в Черноморско-Каспийском регионе, тем самым повышая транзитный потенциал Азербайджанской Республики как важного транспортного узла. В целом, развитие транспортного сектора и достигнутые успехи были реализованы благодаря целенаправленной деятельности во всех отраслях, применению международного опыта, повышению качества и эффективности ремонтно-эксплуатационных работ, расширению материально-технической базы транспортных предприятий. Инновационные технологии, применяемые в рамках осуществляемых проектов, помимо повышения экономических и технических показателей, также положительно влияют и на защиту окружающей среды и соблюдение экологических норм. Уважаемые участники, в заключение хочу высказать свое мнение, что это сегодняшнее обсуждение и выработанные рекомендации будут весьма плодотворны, полезны в нашей дальнейшей деятельности по обновлению транспортной системы наших стран. И в конце хотел бы также выразить благодарность казахстанской стороне за высокий уровень организации совещания, за проявленное внимание и гостеприимство. Благодарю всех за внимание. Желаю вам успехов.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aliyev. Actually, I heard for the first time that you said that 20% of the investment on total investment on the country is directed to transport networks. I know that the Azerbaijan is making very huge investment on the transportation network, including infrastructure, and Azerbaijan is not only investing on its national projects. I know that Azerbaijan is closely cooperating with its neighbor countries, Georgia and Turkey, and we actually hope that at the end of this year, the main historic project, Baku-Kars-Tbilisi, will be completed, and it will open new dimension of the cooperation with other regions. So I know that in fact Azerbaijan always has a contact with the China. As a short while ago, Transport Minister of Azerbaijan announced that China alone guaranteed transportation of 10 million tons of cargo a year through the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars railway. So thank you very much for your presentation, and our next speaker is the Mrs. Ekaterina Miroshnik.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
I would like to also introduce you. She is the Director for Infrastructure in Russia and Central Asia of EBRD. So she joined EBRD London in 2000 as an analyst in transaction structuring and execution support team of the Infrastructure Business Group. She has been on assignment in the field for the last 9 years, first in Moscow and then in Almaty. She covered infrastructure projects in a number of countries, including Russia, Kazakhstan, Turkey, and Southern and Eastern Mediterranean. She became Director for Infrastructure in Russia, Central Asia, and Mongolia in 2013. I hope that we will hear very interesting presentation, especially on the role of the international financial institutions on developing the regional, international transport network, and including infrastructure also. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank the government of Kazakhstan for inviting me to this forum. It's a very interesting platform to exchange ideas, and in particular on infrastructure. Indeed, EBRD is working closely with the governments on a regional basis, and we invest a lot in the region. Of course, the needs are huge, and of course, we all know that infrastructure is the main driving force for the economic growth in the region. In Central Asia, our portfolio at the moment in transport is about 1.2, 1.3 billion euros. Of course, the majority of those investments are in Kazakhstan, about 80% is Kazakhstan. But we do invest in smaller countries in the region in Central Asia. We invest in Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan, in Turkmenistan. The majority of the investments there with the public sector. So basically we work a lot with Kazakhtemirjali. We had 5 projects with the Kazakh Railway Company for the total amount of 700 million euros. And the projects, they basically different from infrastructure to wagons to some logistics operations. We work a lot in the region on the airport infrastructure. We also finance roads. And roads in Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan and in Kazakhstan. Of course, infrastructure is important, logistics is important, for the region. And at the moment, logistics, as we see, is a bottleneck. I concur with the previous speakers that intermodal, transportation and operations are important, and containerization is a new area and basically potential for future growth. And we as EBRD are keen to provide financing for those types of investments. As I said, about 70% of all finance and basically investments in the region are driven by public sector and only 30% by private sector. We of course would like to see more private sector participation. And in this respect, of course it's up to the governments of the region to basically build the relevant investment climate and incentives for the private sector to invest, but also for private sector, I think there are interesting opportunities in the Caspian region, again, both in the railway sector, in the airport sector, in the shipping, and we do finance some private shipping companies in Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, for example, and again, in the logistics. So far, in Kazakhstan, we've been financing several private rail car operators. These are Olja, these are Trans, and we are keen to provide more financing, for properly structured projects. Again, we ask the governments to consider PPPs, public-private partnerships, and for this type of investments, it's up to the government to structure and tender, properly. But we think that there will be interest, from the investors around the world. Kazakhstan is an investment-grade country, and if properly, if it's properly marketed, it can attract good investors. We see now, for example, the first PPP recently been tendered. It's the Bakat Road, Almaty Ring Road. And so far the tender is quite successful. There were 9 consortia bidding, and now 5 consortia passed pre-qualification, and it's really great result. And the investors are from around the world, from China to Turkey to Korea, and to some European investors also passed PQ. So it's really a great achievement, and we hope that this project will get to successful closure later in the year or early next year. So there is interest from investors, of course from IFIs such as EBRD, but also from private sector investors. And Kazakhstan and basically the region, could attract, more financing from around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I said before, as a regional countries and as a regional intergovernment bodies, which I present as a Turkey Council, we pay great attention to the such kind of the international financial institutions. So we praise your work on supporting governmental projects, and also your endeavors, which is you are going to support the private sector. You know that ensuring involvement of the private sector and enhancing public and private partnership, especially on transport, is essential for the revitalization of these all corridors, including the Caspian corridors. Thank you very much. So our next speaker is Mr. İlyas Demirci. He is our last speaker, but not least. So Mr. Demirci is General Secretary of Union of Engineers and Architects of the Turkic World. He has served for several years in government bodies. He was chief of the General Directorate of the State Water Issues. He actually is the initiator and chairman of the Art, Engineering and Architecture and Urbanization Congress of the Turkic World. He is also owner of the Silkway Civilization Journal. So, Mr. Demirci, floor is yours.
Thanks. Please let me, my presentation will briefing with PowerPoint in Turkish. Hepinizi saygıyla selamlıyorum. 5 yıl önce bu salonda Bağımsızlık Sarayı'nın açılışında Türk Dünyası Şehircilik Kurultayı'yla beraberdik. 2010 Astana Türk Dünyası Mimarlık ve Şehircilik Kurultayı başta Kazakistan Cumhuriyeti Cumhurbaşkanı Sayın Nursultan Nazarbayev ve Türkiye Cumhuriyeti Cumhurbaşkanı Sayın Abdullah Gül olmak üzere Türk Cumhuriyetleri Cumhurbaşkanlarının yüksek huzurlarında gerçekleştirilmiştir. Bizzati Cumhurbaşkanlarının talimatlarıyla kurultay sonuç bildirgesine yansıyan Türk Dünyası Mühendisler ve Mimarlar Birliği kuruluşu kararının ardından bugün itibariyle 36 ülkede temsilcilikleriyle birlikte Türk Dünyası Mühendisler ve Mimarlar Birliği özellikle Türk Dünyası kurultaylarını düzenleyen ve teşkilatı uluslararası teşkilat olarak hizmetlerine devam etmektedir. Türk Dünyası Mühendisler ve Mimarlar Birliği ana faaliyetlerini tarihi İpek Yolu ve bu yolun üzerinde kurulmuş İpek Yolu medeniyetleri ekseninde gerçekleştirmektedir. Özellikle uluslararası Kaşgar'dan Endülüs'e Türk İslam şehirleri şehrengiz toplantılarında kıta aşan projelerle Demir İpek Yolu ana teması işlenerek bu büyük koridorun tarihteki ve gelecekteki önemi defalarca farkındalık gündemi oluşturmaktadır. Peki, Demir İpek Yolu nedir? Demir İpek Yolu, uygarlıkların yeryüzü haritasına çektiği bereketli çizgilerdir. Demir İpek Yolu, ticari, ekonomik, sosyal ve kültürel hayatın akış çizgilerini üzerinden devam ettirir. Değil mi ki bir yere ulaşmak için açılan her yol, sahip olduğumuz kültür ve uygarlıkların daha da gelişmesini, evrensel bir değere dönüşmesini sağlar. İnsanların toplu yaşama bilincine kavuştukları ilk günlerden bu yana tarihin ve coğrafyanın, kentlerin ve ülkelerin kimliğinde en belirgin unsur yollar olur. Yol tayini insan için bir nevi kader tayinidir. Kısa olsun, uzun olsun, dar olsun, geniş olsun. Her yol elbette mesafesi ölçüsünde kendince bir değere ve etkinliğe sahiptir. Ancak dünyanın ortak mirasında hiçbir yol İpek Yolu kadar insanlığın birbirini tanımasına, kültürlerin buluşmasına, coğrafyanın derinlik kazanmasına katkı sağlamamıştır. En genel anlamıyla Doğu ile Batı'nın etkileşimi İpek Yolu'nun tanıklığında gerçekleşir. İnançların doğuşuna ve yayılmasına, ulusların yeni yurtlar edinmesine, yüzyılların bir kitap sayfası gibi okunup çevrilmesine tanıklık eden İpek Yolu, eski dünya diye bildiğimiz Avrasya ve Afrika'nın çeşitli yollarla zenginleştiği bir ana yol olma özelliğini 1000 yıllardır korumayı başarır. İpek Yolu, önceleri Mısırlıların, ardından Romalıların ülkelerine Uzak Asya'dan ipek ve baharat taşımasıyla ününe kavuşur ve ünlenir. İlerleyen yüzyıllarda Doğu ve Batı ticaretinin tek merkezi aksını Çin'den Batı Avrupa'ya kadar uzanan İpek Yolu oluşturur. Diğer bir deyişle İpek Yolu kıtalar arası ticaretin atar ve toplar damarlarıdır. İpek, baharat, porselen, kağıt ve değerli taşlar başta olmak üzere yüzyıllarca ticari eşya, deve ve katır kervanlarının uzun ve büyülü yolculuğunda daha da bir değerlenerek Orta Asya ülkelerine ağır adımlarla ilerledi. Kervanlar bozkırın, dağların, ovaların kokusunu alarak Hazar Denizi'ne, Küçük Asya üzerinden Akdeniz'e ve Karadeniz'e kavuştu. Sonra kervanların yerini gemiler aldır. Varış limanlarında başlayan yeni kervanlar menzile ulaştığında aradan mevsimler, hatta yıllar geçmiş olsa bile Bu büyülü yolculuk aynı anda iki yöne akan bir ırmak ahengiyle batıdan doğuya devam eder. Kervanlar yollarda, hanlarda, kervansaraylarla karşılaşır. Aynı güzergahı iki yönde izleyerek aynı kentlerden, aynı köprülerden, aynı kavşaklardan fakat farklı bir tazelikle geçerek tarihin akışına eşlik etmeyi sürdürürler. Binlerce yıllık kilometrelik güzergah üzerindeki kentler, konuk ettiği kervanları, ağırladığı her dilden, her ırktan ve her inançtan insanın doğal katkısıyla kent kimliğine kavuşur. Kentin bir yana yalnızca kervanlar için yapılan konaklama mekanları bile bu büyük ticari hareketin destanlılığını tarihe direnen soylu duruşlarıyla anlatmaya devam eder. Yüzyıllar geçer. İnsanoğlu kullandığı ve tükettiği pek çok şey değişir, çeşitlenir. Ticaretin şekli değişir. Ürünler sınır tanımaz. Kentlerin ve ülkelerin nüfusu artar. Güneş doğudan aynı güzellikle doğmaya, batıdan aynı tazellikle yeniden doğmak için batmaya devam eder. Asya Avrupa'ya, Avrupa Asya'ya daha da yakınlaşır. Ve İpek yolu küreselleşen dünyada daha da önem kazanır. İpek yolu güzergahındaki en çevre dostu, en ekonomik, en insani ve en avantajlı ulaşım seçeneği ise demir yolu ulaşımının, diğer bir deyişle demir İpek yolunun oluşturacağı düşüncesi somutluk kazanır. Türkiye, Azerbaycan, Gürcistan, Kazakistan ve Çin devletlerinin ortak işbirliğiyle dünya kamuoyunda İpek Demiryolu yahut Demir İpek Yolu olarak anılan Bakü-Tiflis-Kars Demiryolu projesinin temeli 2007 yılında atıldı ve yapımı hızla devam ettirilmektedir. Böylece Pekin'den Astana'ya, Londra'ya uzanan demiryolu ağının kayıp halkalarının ilkini hayata geçmesi takvime bağlanmış oldu. Bakü-Tiflis-Kars Demir İpek Yolu yalnızca 3 ülkeyi demir yoluyla bağlamakla kalmıyor. Bu demirden bağ İpek Yolu güzergahındaki bütün ülkeler için aynı derecede önem taşıyor. Türkiye, Bakü-Tiflis-Kars Demir İpek Yolu projesiyle eş zamanlı olarak doğu sınırı Kars'tan batı sınırı Edirne'ye kadar uzanan hızlı tren projesi geliştirdi. Ankara-Eskişehir arasında yüksek hızlı tren işletmeciliğine 2009 yılında başlandı. Eskişehir-İstanbul yüksek hızlı tren yolu ise 2013 yılında yapımı tamamlandı. Hemen ardından bu defa Ankara-Konya yüksek hızlı tren yolunun altyapı ve üst yapı inşaatları tamamlanarak hizmete açıldı. Ankara-Sivas yüksek hızlı tren yolunun yapımına başlandı. Sivas, Erzincan, Erzurum, Kars hızlı tren yolu ise projeleri tamamlandı. Diğer yandan Ankara-İstanbul yüksek hızlı tren projesiyle ve Marmara ile entegre olacak şekilde İstanbul-Edirne hızlı tren yolunun projeleri tamamlandı ve hizmete açıldı. Demir İpek yolunun en ilginç bağlantısını şüphesiz Marmara'yı oluşturuyor. Her yönüyle bir mühendislik harikası olan Boğaz Tüp Geçişi projesinin tarihi oldukça eski. Tamamlanan ve hizmete açılan Marmara ile demir yolu ulaşımı iki kıta arasında herhangi bir aktarma ve kısalma olmadan Astana'dan, Pekin'den kalkan trenlerin Londra'ya, Londra'dan kalkan ve Astana'ya veya Pekin'e kadar uzanan herhangi bir doğal ve fiziki engelle karşılaşmadan ulaşması sağlanmış olacaktır. Tarihi İpek yolunun Demir İpek yolu formatında yeniden doğmasına efsanevi kuş, anka gibi küllerinden yeniden dirilmesine tanıklık ediyor. Demir İpek yolu projesi 2010 yılının Mayıs ayında Astana'da burada düzenlenen Türk Dünyası Mimarlık Şehircilik Kurultayı'nda 36 ülkeden gelen bilim insanlarının oy birliği kararıyla Türk Dünyası'nın en büyük projesi seçilmiştir. Türk Dünyası Mühendislik Ödülü'ne layık görülmüştür. Türk İslam dünyası coğrafyasında bütün büyük öneme sahip olan bu anlamlı projenin mühendislerine, yürütücüsüne, yapımcısına kadar emeği geçen herkese Türk Dünyası Mühendisler ve Mimarlar Birliği adına ayrı ayrı teşekkür ederken gelecek zaman içinde bu tarihi proje ile birlikte saygıyla anılacaklarını ifade etmek isterim. Bu vesileyle Astana Ekonomik Forumu'na, özellikle işbirliği içinde bulunduğumuz Uluslararası Türk Akademisi'ne en derin başarılar diliyoruz, saygı sevgiler sunuyoruz. Size de ayrıca Türk Dünyası Mühendisler Mimarlar Birliği adına en kalbi duygularımla selamlıyorum, teşekkür ediyorum efendim.
Thank you very much, Mr. Demirci. Thank you for the historical and the contemporary enlightenment of the Silk Road, especially the railway Silk Road. We pay a great importance to civil initiatives which you launched personally, and we pay a great importance to the civil, private, and the government interaction collaboration. So you said about the Turkish investment on the railway investments. We know that Turkey made the huge investments on the railway, and especially Turkey make railway investments on the high-speed rails. Its investments is very fantastic. And you said about Marmaray, it's also the very fantastic achievements, and it will be open transport connection from China to Europe, as you said. Thank you very much for this presentation, and we came to our conclusion. So we already exhausted our time. If I think there is a speakers on the ground who has also the very familiar with the topics. If there is a speakers who would like to make short comments, and also if there is a questions, if is the floor open to all of you, please.
Zafer Acar from Okan University, Istanbul. I'm working with Caspian Strategy Institute. I want to take your notice to one secret. As far as I understand, each country tried to invest very huge projects, infrastructure project, logistics project, but without coordinating with each other. So, if the capacity, total capacity, exists, what will happen then? Who will benefit from it? Is it this situation hides competition, a future competition? What's your future prediction? Especially, I'm forwarding my question to Mr. Kanat Altspayev. Thank you.
Well, this is kind of right question. I mean, basically just at the base of the right marketing and the strategy. If you're asking, and I will answer from the my company perspective, if you look on the Caspian region, specifically on Caspian development, yeah, there are a lot of intensive development of each country. I mean, what kind of strategy we use for our development? Right now we are working, for example, with the port of Aktau for the extending of the capacity of this port. The design capacity of existing port is around 60 million tons, and we would like to add additional 3 million tons. But segmentation of the type of the development, it should be looked at that very carefully. For example, when we look at on the master plan of Port of Aktau, how can we develop on that? Definitely we look on the kind of generation of the goods, what kind of volume we can bring additionally. And what we're looking, basically Kazakhstan, for example, has a tremendous grain export potential. And we as a railway company, we can see how drastically change of the market for Kazakhstan grain within the past 5-10 years. It used to be that the most transportation flow go from the Kazakhstan, for example, to the Baltic ports or Black Sea ports, but right now we can see that the change of the market for the Kazakhstan grain, basically it's more the orientation to the Iran, and the consumption of this country of the grain is a huge number. And also we can see the potential for the Caucasus state as well. So, and we can see that also additional point that according to our estimation, around 25 to 30% of entire the cargo flow with the Caspian Sea is generated from Kazakhstan. We know also the initiative of our colleagues from Azerbaijan, the development additional capacity of the, for example, RoRo activities and the ships yard as well. And this is also, for example, for us it's very interesting because we try to be aligned. So another initiative which we start with here is to creating the own RoRo port, just basically adding some volume to the existing port of Aktau. You know, the port of Aktau right now and worked before and recently just to serve more oil and oil product stuff. And for this issue, we're looking to add capacity for port of Kurik specifically. But when you're talking about the volume, we should not forget that when we have done some recent studies, when we're talking about the east flow to the west, according to our estimation that basically when we're talking about containerization, right now is zero numbers of the containers, or I would say that no in small, it's really zero, which go from the Kazakhstan, for example, to Azerbaijan and back, because we didn't develop this type of the product. And our goal just at least to reach up to the 2020 the volume more than 100,000 TEUs per year. And we see interest. It's really practical interest which generate by the companies which has operation in China. For example, Hewlett-Packard. It's a very good example which we're using for that. Right now they do distribution in Europe, but they said if you guys can create right logistics and with a reasonable price to Istanbul by the rail, and right now the speakers told about the development of the connection between Georgia, Azerbaijan, Georgia and Turkey through Kars, Halkalaki. We're waiting with project. You know, so when you're talking about the volume, definitely I am totally agree with you that all countries should align development. But on the same time, I believe if we at least reach 10% of entire the goods flow from the east to west, which right now take care by the shipping lines, I think the volume should be enough. I mean, to generate right profit and to support all our dynamics of development of infrastructure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alpsweib. Is there anybody, other speakers who would like to comment on this question? If no, our next, sorry, yeah, Ambassador, please.
If you remember, the Turkey Council annually convenes ministers of transport. And one of the aims of these meetings is to coordinate transport policy. We are not yet there, but in the future, the infrastructure development will be coordinated. So there will be no surplus, no deficit. So I think this is another response to your question. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. So our next question, please introduce yourself and.
Меня зовут Болспех Замир. Большое спасибо вам, господа спикеры, за выступление. Я член рабочей группы инновационного кластера по созданию инновационного кластера в Алмате по инфраструктуре. По заданию, значит, Казлогистикс Союза транспортников мы исследовали транзитный потенциал Каспийского моря в 2014 году. Выявилось несколько проблем, которые можно было решить с помощью новых технологий. Я думаю, что в дальнейшем можно было предложить для Казахстан Темиржол такие вот инновационные решения в части как приблизить, упростить доступ к этой информации многих владельцев грузов, которые заинтересованы в транзите грузов через Каспийское море. Также мне хотелось бы поднять проблему отсутствия дорог с Мангистау, с Ахтау до Южного Казахстана. То есть это большая проблема, я думаю. То есть если мы хотим везти грузы, я думаю, нужно будет уделить и автомобильным дорогам также. И, на мой взгляд, здесь не говорилось о кадрах. То есть я знаю, что КТЖ вновь выкупила Академию транспорта и коммуникации в Казахстане, но ничего не говорилось именно о кадрах для Каспия. И также мой вопрос представителю Азербайджанской республики. Я слышал, что большую опасность для Каспийского моря представляют старые танкера, которые везут нефть и могут в любой момент разлить эту нефть по Каспию. Спасибо.
Спасибо.
Касательно подготовки кадров, вы однозначно правы. Такая проблема у нас стоит. И здесь, конечно, развитие образования в сфере логистики, она носит специфичный характер. То есть, условно говоря, программное обучение должны быть адаптированы под те или иные специальности. В результате, конечно, мы вот для себя определили ряд программных вопросов, которые мы решаем в рамках так называемого КЗТК, то есть это университеты, которые у нас в транспортной сфере существуют в Казахстане. Предположим, как нарастить кадры, которые занимаются, допустим, в портовом бизнесе. Соответственно, мы как бы работаем с нашими партнерами. Это крупные компании, допустим, как, например, DP World, Dubai Port World, который имеет свой корпоративный университет. И сейчас мы будем пытаться наладить внедрение корпоративных их программ, чтобы обучали в стенах наших вузов. То же самое мы предполагаем в дальнейшем адаптировать эти программы по различным специальностям. В рамках вот Kaz Logistics мы тоже активно участвуем на данной площадке, и я просто бы хотел с вами отдельно потом остаться после этой сессии, уточнить, какие имеются трудности в плане информирования. Здесь, если есть необходимость, мы можем это наладить более практичным методом. И третий вопрос у вас был.
Автомобильные дороги.
По автомобильным дорогам, насколько вот я знаю по программе развития компании Казавтожол, то на сегодняшний день у них есть ряд программ, которые будут финансироваться за счет государственных программ. Нурлы-жол, допустим, и связанные с улучшением именно автодорожной отрасли, связанные со строительством новых дорог. Спасибо.
Спасибо за вопрос. Я лишь подтвержу то, что да, вы правильно утверждаете, что по Марпольской конвенции, естественно, уже весь флот постепенно переходится именно на те суда, которые отвечают требованиям. И я в своем выступлении также это высказал, что закуплено 8 танкеров дейтвейтом в 13 тысяч тонн, двухдонных танкеров. Если надо будет, после встречи я поименно название этих танкеров вам дам.
То есть вы полностью замените старый парк?
Уже заменили, я вот это хочу сказать.
Спасибо.
Thank you. So we already exhausted our time, and I am going to take last comments and a question. So please be very short, and I will ask if there will be answer. Also, will be short answer.
Thank you very much. My name is Vahid Aliyev. I'm from Baku Seaport, Deputy Director. First of all, I'd like to thank all speakers for the very interesting and comprehensive subjects. I have a question to Mr. Akinci. In your speech, you have touched about the vehicles in case of the attractive tariff going via Georgia, Azerbaijan to Turkmenistan or to Kazakhstan. You told us about 25,000 vehicles, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to know, is it per month or per year you meant?
Per month is too much, apparently per year. Because I have the... I quoted an interview by Mr. Schener. I think he meant annually 25,000, but give me just 2 minutes, I'll check. I have the text. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So it was our last comments and the question. We already conclude the meeting. So I must thank all the speakers for their very interesting inputs to this session. I would like to thank all of the audience for coming. I hope all of you had a good time and enjoyed the session. Let me congratulate once again the Majlis of the Parliament of the Republic of Kazakhstan and International Turkic Academy, as well as Caspian Strategy Institute, with one of the successful sessions of Astana Economic Forum. You made a wonderful job. I hope we will have a more such occasion in the future. Thank you, all of you, very much for your attendance, and have a nice evening. Thank you very much.
We would like to invite all the speakers and organizers to the stage for a family photo. Спикерлер мен ұйымдастырушыларды сахнаға шақырамыз суретке түсу үшін. Мы хотели бы пригласить спикеров и организаторов на сцену для фотографии. Спикеров всех